What is up, everyone? I'm coming on here for a couple of plays for today. So yesterday I did talk about Underdog Fantasy, and I talked about their 3.5x payouts for two-mans. They are still the best app to be betting on for two-mans. I did talk about, other than with correlation is still, PrizePicks is still the king of correlation, still going to be sending out like 80% of my slips on PrizePicks. But actually, you will see here, which was interesting, we got a 2.97x, so pretty much a 3x, you guys, for a full correlated two-man on Counter-Strike, and I actually took the unders here. So I took the under for Lake, I took the under for Infinite, hoping that they would play a shorter game. They ended up playing a shorter game just slightly, and they do both go under together. If you were to play this on PrizePicks, you would have got, I believe it would have been a 2.75x, okay? So at the end of the day, a 2.75x versus a 3x is at the end of the world if you played it on PrizePicks. No, but still, you want to try to get all the value you can, and that is why I played it on Underdog Fantasy. So hopefully you guys did tail this one here. I'm gonna, kind of be doing that throughout infinity, really, because you always want to try to get the best payout, right? If we could go on one app and get a 3.5x versus another app that's only going to pay us 3x, then of course we're going to go to the app that's going to pay us 3.5x and at least play a couple of entries there when we can, okay? So yesterday's pick was with Giddy and Rookie. Both of these guys did not hit, so that's obviously unfortunate there, but that's going to happen sometimes. Again, I talked about the 3.5x's on Underdog Fantasy. If you guys want to see it here, they kind of tweeted it out, which is probably the best way to show it. But two picks on Underdog are now 3.5x. They were 3x, and then three picks, so a three-man entry was 6x. Now it's 6.5x. And again, I talked about this yesterday. That might sound like a very minor change, but I'm telling you guys, it is not. That's a massive, massive change that Underdog's implementing. Not only because these payouts are now way better than they were before, because this whole game of betting, guys, is a game of inches, guys. It's a game of getting very small edges over a long period of time. So that's one thing. And then the second thing is the rest of the industry is going to follow now, okay? PrizePicks is probably has a ton of pressure to bump up their payouts now, at least for the 2 and 3 man picks like Underdog did. And maybe PrizePicks will even leapfrog Underdog and start, doing 4-mans, maybe they'll give 11x or something like that. And this is just going to be very good for the industry, because payouts are the name of the game, right? If we were to take a 4-man and only pays out like 4x, that would be horrible, right? We would never be profitable. You can literally almost never be profitable doing that. But if we were to take four mans and they give out 10x, then of course we can be profitable, and that is what we've been doing over the past 2 years. Here's the graph of the past 2 years, guys. Here is the graph so far of this year. So we're up 30. It's about like 36, 35 units right now. Straight bets, we're up 20 units so far this year. It's been a very up and down sort of sequence really since the Super Bowl, I would say. Super Bowl, happened a couple weeks ago, and it's just been very up and down. We've had some days we've gone up 2 or 3 units. We've had some days we've gone down 2 or 3 units, and we really are waiting for that big breakout that we need. And you'll see here, though, I do have a setup in League of Legends. We have a miss right here in League of Legends that was correlated. I did talk about this one yesterday. We got him at 19, and then they bumped down about 30 minutes later to 17.5. And you might be like, well, we took him at 19. He still gets 20 kills. That's not a good play then, but it is a good play because he bumped to 17.5, right? And we got crazy, crazy good closing line value on this pick. And I want to show you guys why he did that very quickly, of course. But you'll see here that I think it was these guys, these Weeboo Gaming and BLG. No, it was this game here, but you'll see that BLG is the team that we bet under on. And what ended up happening, they ended up 3-0ing their opponent, all right? So they got a ton more kills than them in game 1, a ton more kills than them in game 2, a ton more kills than them in game 3. And this is how League of Legends works, guys. It's very similar to the NFL, right? It might not look like it, but it's similar to NFL correlation or college football correlation. There is certain things that happen in these football games and in these League of Legends games that are true. And that means that in the NFL or in college football, if your team passes a lot, if the quarterback does really well, the receiver is going to do very well. So they're very tied together. They're very correlated. It's the same thing in League of Legends. If your team does well, mostly all of your players are also going to do well, okay? Now, if we look at this pick with this WBG and IG guys, we took their overs, and the overs ended up hitting together. Why? Because we actually were on the right side of the correlation here, and this WBG team ends up 3-0ing their opponent, okay? And if you look at the games, 32-24, 20-12, and 18-7, okay? Like if we look at this game, for example, or this game, for example, I think is what I was looking at. So game 1, they had 32 kills in a win. 7 kills for Zika, 14 kills for this guy right here, 4 kills for this guy right here, and then Elk had 7 kills. And we ended up betting on Elk and Zika to go over. And again, they went over pretty easily throughout the 3 games they played because they did win. Okay, so a lot of talking just for that, but that is why we are betting on these things, and you guys have to understand why we are doing what we are doing, why we're taking guys in esports, because you can find really good value for them, and you can pair them up in a correlated manner. And again, this is what we do over and over and over again. You could go back to this channel like in 2024, like almost 2 years ago, and what are we doing? We're doing the same sort of stuff, all right? I'm talking about the same stuff, and trust me, guys, it is a proven mechanism to make money on sports betting, okay? So if you do want to get into the VIP, the number one app that I recommend, I think everyone watching this video, especially if you're in the VIP, especially if you're thinking about being the VIP, if you want to be a profitable bettor, if you are a profitable bettor, you need Underdog Fantasy right now. It is like you can print money on Underdog with these type of payouts they have. Play 2 picks, play 3-man entries. I would honestly play 2-man entries. I've never seen a better opportunity to play 2-man entries right now. Get Underdog Fantasy, just spam 2-man entries almost in League of Legends. Compare your lines. You know, you can tell my picks obviously, and I'm gonna have good picks in esports and in the NBA and stuff. So the first pick is of course going to be on Underdog Fantasy, and we're going to take Azure Thompson to go higher than 5.5 rebounds, so over rebounds tonight for Thompson, and then we're taking Flandre to go over 7.5 kills in League of Legends. All right, so I would not be surprised if this bumps to 8 or 8.5. Again, we want to see bumps. Okay, so try to get this in at 7.5, and then probably by tonight this might bump up to 8 or 8.5 or something like that, especially on with the different payouts they have and stuff like that on Underdog Fantasy, if that kind of makes sense. All right, so this is the first pick of the day. It's Azure Thompson over 5.5 rebounds, and then Flandre in League of Legends to go over 7.5 kills. Okay, again, what is the most important aspect of this entry right here? 3.5x. Okay, if you're taking this right now on PrizePicks, you're just objectively doing it wrong, because you're getting more money right now on Underdog Fantasy, right? It's like someone selling you something, and you're going out of your way to pay $20 for something when you could pay 15 for it. It is free money to be betting on Underdog Fantasy versus any other app right now, especially with these kind of plain Jane vanilla 2-mans right here, where you're just taking no correlated 2-mans. You need to be betting these on Underdog. Okay, so again, text me Underdog. I'll get you guys signed up. I have a code. You'll get 1 month free of the VIP for doing that. You can also do the same thing with REBET. You'll see REBETs available in all these states. 2 months free of the VIP for that, guys. My number is across this video and in the description. So just contact me. I'll get you signed up for these things, okay? I want you in here. This is the second pick of the day. It's in League of Legends and then the NBA. So Wembanyama over 22.5 points in tonight's game. Pretty simple. The past couple of games he's played, he's got a couple of 21-point games. But again, I do think that he'll be able to go ahead and go over 22.5 points in tonight's game. So this is the first play in the NBA for him. And then the rest of this pick is going to be followed by, what do you know, a League of Legends 2-man because we have extreme correlation. All right. So I talk about very similar stuff throughout these days, right? It's not rocket science. We're taking guys over or under together based on if they're winning or not, right? These guys right now, this team is minus 333 to win this game, okay? So if you know anything about sports bets odds, that means that this team is favored to win the game, okay? So if they win the game, they're probably going to go over. Again, sometimes I'm going to bet the underdogs to win the game. Sometimes I'm going to bet and take the overs. Sometimes I'm going to bet the overdogs to lose the game and go under. I'm not saying that I base everything off of the sportsbooks odds, but you can get a pretty good gist of who's going to win the game and lose the game based on different sportsbooks odds for League of Legends you can find across, the internet, right? Again, I'm taking the overs. I think these lines are a little bit low. This guy, there's been multiple games where he plays a specific character named Akali, and if this does hit or that he does go over, I want to go over it in tomorrow's video, but if he does play this character Akali, he can get 10 to 11 kills in just one map alone, because that character is such an aggressive character and he really plays it probably like once every 3 games. So he has a really good chance of playing this character in the game that he's playing, and he might get just 10 to 11 kills in one game alone. All right, so thank you guys so much for watching. Again, here are the two plays, one on Underdog, one on PrizePicks. This should be a 5.5x, by the way. And again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in tomorrow's